What is going on, guys? My name's Ash. You'll know me as Brommer18. Hope you're all okay. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today we continue our FIFA 22 Tactics series. This is the series where I show you how to recreate real systems. And today I want to talk to you about Xavi Hernandez's Al-Sadd tactics. These have been requested since probably like FIFA 20. Loads of people getting this one in. I've been reluctant to do this because of the fact they're not on the game. However, with the whole Barcelona job thing now coming up, I think it's probably the best time to do it. So we have picked Barcelona, as you can see, and really we're going to try and go through his 4-3-3 tactics. I know there was something about him having a free back as well. I really want to focus on the 4-3-3 because I think that's what you get the best out of. Also, that's what they use most. In my research, I found that to be the predominant shape because it's generally to counter the opposition. Before we do get into this video, a quick note that this video is brought to you by my Patreon. You can get access to great perks on my Patreon, including, most of all, my FIFA 22 custom tactics packages. You get deep dives on the tactics, every tactic that we do cover on the channel, ratings, suitable teams to play as, suitable traits and attributes for players that you're going to sign, pros and cons, overall thoughts. You also get a complete rankings table as well, ranking all the tactics that we have covered. You get that access to FIFA 1, the PES one, you get behind the scenes videos, access to my player scouting board coming soon, Discord server, all that good stuff. Go and check it out, and I really appreciate everyone who is kindly supporting the channel. On that note, let's get into it. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to talk to you about the possession changes. We're looking at the 4-3-3, as I said, then we'll go into the tactics, and then we'll talk about the player instructions. So first things first, with the formation itself, we've gone for the 4-3-3 holding, but as you can see, there are a few changes. First things first, we have changed the two wing backs. We'll change them from fullbacks to wing back. Now, the reason why we've done this is because we want them stretching the pitch when they need to. These guys are going to be on the touchline, really creating that width, helping to provide overloading situations as well on the wings. They can support the wingers. They can get into those 1-2 situations. And that's really how you're going to create this expansive style of football. Plus, we'll talk about it more on the tactics, but when we're messing with the width in terms of when in possession, that's going to be low, which means to create the width and when they're trying to stretch teams out, you're going to want to change these positions to wing backs. In addition, the two central midfielders have been changed to attacking midfielders. Pedri, we've got here, is left attacking midfield, and Coutinho is right attacking midfield. The reason being is that we want them getting into more advanced areas, which is what they do more, into those pockets of space, into those little areas that are left in between each line, such as the midfield and the defence. But also we want them supporting the wingers and the striker as much as possible. We want them occasionally drifting out. We want them getting into those 1-2 situations that, again, we talk about. Lots of give and goes, lots of pass and moves. And this is how you're going to best replicate that. Now, one thing I should say is, in terms of the personnel, here I've just picked the players in the Barcelona team that suit this style the best. So do bear that in mind. Obviously, Busquets and players like that, and Aguero, etc. We've just gone for players who suit your style the best. Two, you also got to remember that here, this is going to be a very attacking tactic. It is extremely committive. It is just high intensity all the time. Therefore, you're taking massive risks when playing this tactic. This is one that, if you're going to be trying to do it on seasons or etc., I wouldn't bother, to be honest. This is one for against the AI to really enjoy the gameplay and get that extreme possessional based style, particularly if you are doing a Barcelona career mode, for example. Now then, let's talk about the tactics. First things first, defensively, we've got constant pressure, looking to really get in the faces of the opposition, win the ball back as quickly as possible. Now, it's important to know, a lot of times when I do these videos and I'll have constant pressure on, and it will come up in the instructions because some players are on aggressive interceptions as well, people talk about the stamina, always stamina. Well, you have to remember that you should have the possession for a lot of the game. You shouldn't be having to press a team all the time. You don't want to be giving the ball away. You don't want to throw away possession. Value it a bit more. So you shouldn't be having to press all the time. Therefore, your stamina shouldn't be regressing all the time. That's something very important to know. I think some people sort of miss out on that one. So do bear that one in mind with the constant pressure. Again, though, You're always looking to get in the face of the opposition, win the ball back as much as possible. He always talks about valuing possession, and this is how you add emphasis to that value by making sure that you're always pressing the opposition, trying to get the ball back. With defensive width, it's on 30. What you'll see from the description there is that it's unbalanced. This is the lowest you can have it before it goes into very narrow. Now, I always talk about in these videos having very narrow defensive line and just shape in general. You don't want teams being able to play through you. The reason why we've not got this on narrow but we've got it on 30 is because you want to try and complement that press, which means you're going to want players getting out wide to the opposition fullbacks, to their wingers, any players that are out wide at the time, and you're going to want to complement that. So when you're defending a little bit wider, it's going to allow you to do that. However, it's on the lowest of the balance because we still want that emphasis on narrow. You don't want too much space in between each position. Make sure teams can't exploit that. With the depth, it's all the way up to 100. Now, again, we're talking about constant pressure. You're trying to complement that as much as possible. Now, as I spoke about earlier in the video, this is a very aggressive tactic. It is extreme possession. And so, you know, you are going to have to take risks, and this is part of that. Now, should you wish, you find it's really becoming a problem that you've got it on 100, you're constantly getting played in behind. We had it once or twice, if you notice the gameplay as well. Occasionally, Sevilla were able to get in behind, even with relatively fast defenders. Remember, one, you are going to want fast defenders, but also, you can drop this off a little bit. Maybe you go for 80 and it's still a high line. Just bear in mind that it will make the constant pressure a little bit less effective. You know, one thing that we did so well in this game that was as a result of this is that we could press really high. You'll notice on the first goal that Dembele scores, that comes from us pressing the goalkeeper and intercepting his pass. And that's what you get from having it on 100. So it's a bit of give and take there. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But if you want to go the extreme way, that is up to 100. Next up, offensively, build-up play is slow build-up, and we can merge this in with the chance creation as well on possession. We know what they're like, very much looking to support each other in possession as much as possible. That's really self-explanatory. I don't need to go into it too much. Now, with the width, this is on 28. I wanted it as close to 30 as much as possible to try and support the fact that you want to be expansive. However, we've still gone for 28, so it's still in narrow. It means that the central midfielders, the centre backs, all these guys are going to support the man in possession as much as possible. But we want it a little bit wider, because naturally you're still looking to create that width. You want to stretch opposition, and that's one of the reasons why, as we spoke about earlier, you want the fullbacks on wing backs rather than natural fullback. In terms of why I have it on 28 other than 29, no other reason than my OCD. It's got to be on an even number, so do just bear that one in mind as well. If you want it on 29, you go for it. Next up, with players in the box, this is up to 7, sorry, excuse me. What we have here is roughly 3 to 4. You want to replicate that. You're going to have generally the likes of the wingers, the striker, and one of the attacking midfielders probably getting into the box as well. Now, bear in mind, a lot of the times it's going to be the wingers getting to the byline and crossing it in, really cutting it back. In fact, that's how we do score our second goal. So as a result, then the attacking midfielder is definitely going to commit and get into the box. But it's roughly 3 to 4. Remember, it's not really so much you crossing the ball, it's more you getting to the byline and cutting it back. That's what these possessional orientated teams often tend to do. So do bear that one in mind. On corners, this is up to 4. It's going to give you more men in the box, 2 back, and then 1 on the edge of the area as well. But then on free kicks, this is actually down to 2. And this is something that I've not really done in recent videos, and we want to try and change this up a little bit. You know, really not going to whip the ball in much and wide free kicks. And generally, it's going to be deeper free kicks. So as a result, you want more players back supporting that possession. You're just going to pass it off and you're going to go from there, retain possession. So that's what we're looking to do. This time we got free kicks on 2. And hopefully in future videos, I can personalise this a little bit more as well. Something I wish I had sort of done earlier when we did start this series. So with free kicks, have that on 2. Next up then, let's talk about the player instructions. Starting off with ter Stegen in goal. We've got him on comes to crosses and sweeper keeper. Of course, you want him supporting that high line as much as possible, coming out. They don't do it as much as you would like on FIFA, but obviously you still want that to try and get the upside from him being sweeper keeper. On top of that comes to crosses to try and relieve the pressure off your centre backs. This is one literally all my goalkeepers are set to come to crosses now. Very, very rarely do you find keepers not committing, and when you do, there's probably not enough upside for it on this game. But either way, you know, in these sort of systems, particularly the high pressing aggressive ones, you're going to find that keeper, who is already a sweeper keeper, also willing to come out in crossing situations as well. With the two centre backs, if we can get to them, the only things you need to change here are the interceptions. Change both of these to aggressive interceptions. We spoke about it earlier. Now, what I wanted one on step up and the other one on cover. But, you know, we really messed with this, and the problem is it just doesn't work well enough on this game. They really need to update this. They've introduced it this year, and it's not working. I don't think they've probably not play tested it much. To be honest, the step up instruction, it's not working well because you find them getting dragged out into positions that you don't want. You just want them, for example, with this one, we wanted one to mark and one to stay in case a striker drops off, in case maybe if there's a striker already being marked by the centre-back and attacking midfielder drops off. But you tend to find them all over the place, and then no one covers for them, and then they play in behind, and it's nice and easy. Plus your defenders don't get goal side. So we've tried to replicate the way they press by changing this to aggressive interceptions instead, and that's really how you're going to get the upside of that press. On to the wing backs next. Again, kept them on stick to position rather than step up for the same reason, but we've got them on join the attack and we've got them on overlap as well. Again, trying to create the width as much as possible. You're going to get the wingers inverting quite a lot to try and support the striker and the central moves. So as a result, the wing backs are generally the ones who are going to be really stretching the play, getting as wide as possible and always offering that outlet. You're going to find them in a lot of space, so you're going to find you playing through them a lot, and yes, they're going to get tired and they're going to need a lot of stamina, but they're also going to be one of the most fundamental parts of your system because they are going to be how you build up a lot of the play. So do bear that one in mind. Next up, with Frankie de Jong, and we're really getting to the fun part now, because with the central midfield you've got something that we haven't done in any of our tactics videos before, and we'll speak about that very, very shortly. One, you've got him on cut passing lanes. Now, ideally, we would like him to man mark. Again, it's not working very well on this game, so with that, it was going to emphasise and help your press, because hopefully he's going to be obstructing any passes being played through those central areas. With attacking support, stay back while attacking. He's going to be that possessional pivot. It's going to rest on him. You're going to recycle possession through him, and you'll be utilising him a lot in that capacity because, again, you'll be looking to retain possession as much as possible. Defensive position is cover centre. You don't want him being dragged that either way, particularly when you've only got one defensive midfielder. If you had two, you could be a little bit more willing to do that, but with him on one, you're going to find a lot of space if you find him generally being dragged out. It really should be the attacking midfielders ahead of him who are doing that. Now, positioning freedom, and this is what I really want to talk about, because you're going to find all three of these midfielders on the same, and that is free roam. It's about trying to exploit the space, get your players into as much space as possible, because that is what enables you to play a possession system. The most important thing in this possession-based system is actually movement, because that's what enables you to have those options in the first place. So you've got him on free roam. He's going to play the role of the deep-lying playmaker. Ahead of him, however, we do have slightly different in terms of the positioning, but the positioning freedom remains the same. All of these on free roam, again, looking to find that space. With the attacking midfielders on free roam as well, you're going to find them supporting the wingers, as we spoke about, getting into the box sometimes, coming deep, showing for the ball. They're just going to be everywhere, and the player is going to be able to go through them when you need it to, and that is extremely important. So with both attacking midfielders, we've got them on comeback on defence. Make sure they are tracking back. That's very important. But again, because possession is resting on you so much and you should be in control of the game, they shouldn't be having to do that loads. Now, with support and crosses, there are slightly differing roles. With Coutinho, we've got him on stay at the edge of the box. He's going to provide that added pivot in the more advanced forward areas. But with Pedri, he's on balance. Now, it doesn't matter which one you choose. You can go with the right, you can go with the left. It's entirely up to you. I didn't find any difference, really. It's ultimately down to who you want in the box in terms of the player individual. I preferred having Pedri in those situations and Coutinho be more of that pivot. One thing that's also important to note that I haven't mentioned is I was using custom sliders in the gameplay. So you will find the pass error was boosted up on both sides, the shot error was boosted up. So if you find that sort of thing happening a lot, a little bit harder for me to retain possession. So do bear that one in mind. If you are playing with the base system, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to retain possession. So just something worth bearing in mind. Next up then, let's talk about the two attackers. With the two wingers, they are on the same instructions. We've got Ansu Fati and Ousmane Dembele in this case. Come back on defence, but as I spoke about with the attacking midfielders, shouldn't be able to track back loads because you should be retaining possession. And then chance creation is cut inside. Not only does it support the possessional game when you're playing through the centre, but also it's going to make them penetrate the defence because we also have them on getting behind, which means they're going to angle their runs and they're going to look to get in behind, and you're really going to get them into those attacking one-on-one situations as much as possible, particularly on the goalkeeper. What this is also going to do is it's then going to create space for your wing backs to then overlap. As you will have seen earlier, we do of course have them on join the attack and overlap. So you're really killing two birds with one stone. You're also getting these guys as close to the attack midfielders as possible. Again, lots of intricate 1-2 pieces of play that is very important. Finally, we support on crosses for both of them, get into the box with a cross, as we've already really spoken about in the tactics, so I don't really need to go into that too much. So finally then, with the striker, in this case, we do have Memphis Depay. With support runs stay central, that's very important. We don't want him drifting out wide because we've already got a lot of movement from the other guys, the attack midfielders, the wing backs, the wingers. You know, you want him to be that focal point in attack. If you get him dragging wide as well, you're going to find less options in the central areas of the pitch. Now, with attacking runs, it's on mixed attack. So what we're looking to replicate here is occasionally he'll look to penetrate the defence. He'll look to run in behind. But sometimes you're also going to find him backing into the forward. You're going to find him showing that short passing option when the attacking midfielder's got the ball. You don't want him running in behind all the time. He's got to do a bit of everything, a bit of a balance. We spoke about Benzema in the most recent tactics video I did for Real Madrid. This is sort of a similar outlook here in terms of doing a little bit of everything, being that complete all-rounded forward. That's what you're looking for, and that is the best way to support that possessional based system. Finally, with defensive support, he is on stay forward. That means he's going to be that outlet. You're going to be able to play out to him. Again, you don't need him tracking back though, because you shouldn't be having to track back all that time. And I know I keep saying that. I do apologise for repeating myself, but that's very important. Something I want to get across to you guys is retain possession, value possession as much as possible to really get the best out of this system. Right then, that is it for this video then, guys. If you've got any questions at all, please do let me know. In particular, if you are looking for more tips, more feedback on this tactic and on this system, remember to check out my Patreon and get access to my FIFA 22 custom tactics package, where we do a deep dive on every system, so you will be able to get more on this system. If you've enjoyed the video, please do subscribe and leave a like, ring the bell so that you get notifications every time I upload a video. Don't forget to check out my second channel, Brommer Ball, where we're doing Football Manager 2022 videos, hoping to get lots of tactics videos out there as well. On top of that, make sure to check all the links in the description, such as the link to my Twitter. Follow me on there for more extra content, all sorts of good stuff, and the links to the likes of my affiliate links, where you can get my custom gaming PC parts, my equipment, consoles, anything like that. Great way to support the channel, because I do get a little kickback, but you don't have to spend any more than you already were. Don't forget to check out any of my other tactics videos and all that good stuff, as well as my Dortmund career mode realistic series that is currently ongoing. On that note, we're going to finish the video off there. So until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.